Hi, I'm Paul Marcel. I wanted to do a little addendum to the video preview I did of the WCR-1000, and that is I'm going to try doing a little tip test on it to see, because some people are concerned about it being maybe tipsy since it's top heavy and there's a vacuum underneath it. And then also I wanted to do a quick bag change show, because you don't want it to take 20 minutes to change the bag. So let's go and hit it. First up, I want to try the tip test. Okay, that's the only thing I could think of trying. And I want you to know that I let it win. So now I'd like to show how fast it is to take the WCR off of the CT22 in my case. And also I'll go over a couple things that describe why it's different if you had just a WCR on top of a hose dock versus if you have it on top of a cisterner, the way that I described in my preview modifications. So to remove it, because of my modification, I just lift it. So it comes straight off. Put it on your favorite table saw top, and then it's the same as removing a cisterner from the top of your deck. So now we're down here, open it up. In my case, I set this cord a little tight. There we go. And then I can change the bag. Now I just changed this bag the weekend before I got the WCR, so there's no need to. So just pack that back in. Clean the filters a little bit, knock off the dust from the HEPA filters, push it back so that you're not going to poke the bag. And then close it up. Now this is something I want to point out. When you go to put, at least on top of the native CT, I don't know about the hose dock, I don't have one. When you go to put this away, right, there's the front tabs on a cisterner that are going to hook into these pockets here, and then it drops down, and then the side tabs get held in place by these clips. Now for me that means, you tip the cisterner in, drop it down, and then I lift up the WCR and place it on top. So let me do that real fast. If I had some semblance of aim, it would go faster. There we go. So it doesn't really take all that long. I mean, granted, if you were doing a lot of routing and you were going to be changing out the bag 5-6 times while on a job site, it might get to be a nuisance, but then you have to weigh the balance. You have to compare the utility that the WCR gives you as far as having things close by, having a place to dock your tools, and all that, versus the nuisance of having it in the way. Now, what I was going to mention about the difference between my setup and a WCR native on top of the CT is that you saw how I had to tip in the cisterner to get the tabs into these holes. You would have to do the same thing with the WCR. So if you had a lot of things on there and you needed to lift it straight up and drop, put it down, say if you had it loaded with some routers and some other things. I mean, my drill is sitting on here, it's not going to fall off. And you could see that earlier in the clip. But the issue would just be if you had a number of items on there that really needed the CT to stay vertical, you might have a problem where you had to tip it in to get into place. I don't think you'd have to tip it in all that much though, so your mileage would vary on that. But otherwise, it's not really a big encumbrance. So that's a quick review, and I will be posting more modifications to the WCR on my blog. I have a blog labeled WCR-1000, and I'll be putting them all there so that as I come up with different ideas, I'll be posting them there. So you might want to keep an eye on that. Thanks, I'm Paul Marcel.